Around the philosophical side of the internet, you'll find a particular subject that gets a lot of heat: whether or not we have free will. But instead of jumping into the fray myself, I'm going to look at why we get so hot and bothered about the subject and argue that it's not actually about free will at all. We observe ourselves making choices. Most of the time, we cannot predict what others, or even we ourselves, will do. Thus, we consider each person to be an agent who determines their own choices. That's what we call free will. The question in tension is, does this free will actually exist? Some argue that physics disproves it, observing that our brains are made of neurons, which are made of the same elements that make up the rest of the universe, which obey predictable laws. Even quantum physics behaves according to probability, not intent. Others argue that we don't know what consciousness is, and it could be some kind of non-physical substance that can affect brains and make decisions that are not constrained by the laws of physics. A third group argues that because our decisions are made in our brains, and we consider our brain processes to be a central part of ourselves, it is fair to say we have free will even if the process is a deterministic part of a deterministic universe. This view is called compatibilism. These are the arguments as I understand them. I don't particularly care to learn more about them because they seem to me like an example of apologetics, the process of constructing an argument to rationalize a view one already holds. It's the opposite of truth-seeking, which is questioning our beliefs and following evidence. Nobody actually cares about whether the answer to the question, do we have free will, is yes or no, apart from some young upstarts who want to earn points in logic-based status games. What we really care about is its implications. People who argue against free will go on to say we should work politically to help improve the conditions of the poor, and we should orient criminal justice around rehabilitation, not punishment. Those who argue in favor of free will say, therefore, we have the power to improve our lots and take responsibility for our actions. Thus, free will is not a question of fact, it's a question of narrative. What story do we tell ourselves to get us to behave in ways that lead to prosperous and meaningful societies? So my answer to the question of free will is not yes, no, or compatible. My take is that we shouldn't use free will as an excuse not to help the poor, and we shouldn't use the absence of free will as an excuse not to improve ourselves. In fact, we should stop using philosophy for excuses in general. We do things the way we do. Whether we want to call that free will or not is a matter of semantics. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.